Hey everybody, this is Brad Bruce and I am here with
Jase Marsiglia.
and you're listening to the 5195 podcast.
Yes, sir. And we are back again, which isn't back at it.
I know.
It's back again.
What is it about the back at it you don't like? Because you fucking don't like that shit.
It's not even that I don't like it. It's just...
Well, you said dancing monkey stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say, now that I know that it's expected of me, I'm kind of like,
That's fucked up. And it wasn't even me. It was like other people said they liked it.
you know.
So I was like, I could care if you're less if you're here or not. I mean, I could do this shit alone.
Oh, I know.
Come on.
You know what? I know someone who would be great.
To replace me or you?
Well, we'll let the audience decide.
Okay, go for it.
The great Jonny Ramaglia has graced us with his presence once again.
Thank you for having me again.
Yes, sir. Always love the energy Johnny brings in, man.
I know.
It's cool.
Those first episodes were...
It was a trifecta, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
We went deep.
Yeah, we did.
We definitely went deep.
That was a serious journey. What did you call it? The Jonny Ramaglia saga.
The saga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt like it to me, living it.
It was really
Yeah.
a spaghetti western.
It was great shit, man.
Yeah.
I got a lot of people at home who were like, that dude was rad. I'm like,
Same.
indeed he is.
Yeah.
I kind of blacked out for part of it. I was there for most of it, but you go deep in some of the shit and you start uncovering things and
You're like, oh, fuck.
you just fizzle away. So it was cool. I also enjoyed it like just a outside listener once it finally aired. It was cool. I liked it.
No, that's cool.
Yeah, I was always curious as to your thoughts on the show. Like, because you listened to it, obviously, in its entirety for the first time. What were you thinking?
Well, the first things that I always work through is like, God, I hate the way I sound on the mic.
All of us.
That's
You know how
number
it is,
one.
but that's
always
everybody.
number one. Yeah.
Nobody likes how they sound.
Nope.
And then you go through it, just talking about yourself makes you feel like a douche.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, again, you got to get through some of that stuff. And then I guess really just you go through it and you're just trying to speak your truth.
Mm-hmm.
And I think towards the end of it, so by the third episode, I was a little bit more self-aware of this production. So I was trying to kind of pay attention to different cues and what could I say that is something that somebody could take away? Can I add something to my own trials and tribulations, my failures that could feed somebody and help them not make the same dumbass mistakes and stupid shit that I did, so they don't do it,
Yeah.
Just trying to relate. Just try to be relatable, I guess.
Yeah.
It was cool to listen to that and be like, okay, yeah, a lot of that rings true. That rings true. Yep. And unfortunately, yes, that is real. That is you. You did that shit.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You just own it.
You got to own it. Yeah.
But I got that from listeners. I did get that. You resonated. There were people out there that were like, oh, that guy is fucking awesome. Me and him are on the same tip, and all that. So it was super cool. And that's one of the little perks of doing this, because he and I, we had the conversation before we even started doing this, where I'm like, who the fuck are we? Why, I got nothing to talk about, And then weeks later, I don't remember what episode it was, but you were telling me that a listener was like, dude, they were glad you brought this or that up. And it's funny because you don't think about it because you're just being open, but you're like, fuck, this is reaching people, man,
Mhm.
And I think you did, with three full episodes. How could you not?
Yeah.
For one, but it was like, yeah, the response was super positive to your episode.
Well, I mean, I had friends and family that listened to it that know you. And they were like, wow, I feel like I really got to know him. Like heavy shit that I never would have thought.
Yeah, it's true. Actually, I have relatives that had the same experience.
Well, that's what I want to ask you too. Like,
Yeah.
what kind of feedback did you get from outsiders?
A lot of it was, wow, there's so much I didn't, this is relatives, there's so much I didn't realize. And it just makes me appreciate you and love you that much more. And I was like, okay, that's good. Thank you.
That was a
Thank you.
win.
That's good. Yeah.
It was a win.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, I know the last time you were on, you were talking about you were about to drop an album.
Yes.
And then
yes.
you did.
I did. I put out, it's an instrumental. So, a lot of time leading up to that release had to do with kind of getting back in the saddle, focusing on getting my chops back up with, my workflow of making beats after a very long hiatus. So, I grinded through it and I was able to put out this little package that was a 18-track instrumental project that had a little bit of a direction to it, semi-noirish, a little vigilante-esque, but also with some cinematic sound to it. And yeah, try to make something a little more cohesive. Like it could have been a concept album if I had got the right MC to work with. But, you know, more or less really just wanted to get something out there to kind of put myself back into the ethers.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you're like, okay, it's out, I dropped it.
Yeah.
Ran right to Spotify, downloaded it, and just went track for track a couple times.
Yeah.
I only messaged you one time, like, because I just wanted to get into it. I wanted to just headphones on, just get lost, and just like absorb every song without being interrupted.
Cool.
But there was a moment that I reached out to you early on in the album. You're like, oh yeah, I was hoping you were gonna notice that part.
Oh yeah.
And which I was like, that was fucking rad. But I will say it is an amazing album. Every track.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Appreciate
Absolutely fucking flawless. I've, turned on other people to it now, and I actually want to talk to you about a sort of a side project after the show that's like could potentially come from that, but I just wanted to get your okay before we went down that road.
Sure.
Because listening to it, I was like, man, this is a perfect fit for this,
Which is funny because what he's talking about, and obviously without going into it, if it's what I think it is, I was like, that's the exact same track that I was stuck on.
Yeah.
Because it was like, I listened to it at work.
Oh,
cool.
Cool.
I went to work, plugged in. It was like Johnny's album's out.
Nice. Appreciate that.
Yeah, man. And I went through it again, like he said, a couple of times. And it was funny when he played the track that he was thinking of talking to you about. I was like, that's the one I leaned on too, out of all of them. Because I enjoyed it. I loved the album. But there was something about that track that I was like,
What's the track?
Are we allowed to say, or do you want to wait until?
I would like to wait.
Okay.
Yeah, I would like to
Okay,
wait.
cool.
I would, but yeah, it's
Because I know it's like an in production kind of deal.
yeah,
Okay. Oh, sure.
yeah.
Leave
So,
the anticipation.
yeah, no, it's
But it was just funny that both of us were like, "That's the one."
Okay, cool.
To me, that's the crown jewel of the.
absolutely. It's just
Yeah.
there's so many good tracks. I highly recommend everyone going out, listen to it, download it, share it because it's fucking awesome. Like
So yeah, here's what it is. It's a Hardboiled Instrumentals by Smart Vandalay. That's my moniker I use in the beat production world and music otherwise. It's on all the major streaming platforms. Go check it out. You can go listen to it on YouTube, all the big ones and the small ones.
Yep.
Yeah.
Smart Vandalay.
Definitely follow, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I that was one thing I forgot to do when I went back and I was going through his stuff before he came over. I'm like, I liked all these tracks. I put them in this folder, and I was like, I got to subscribe to the guy. 'Cause I think it's the only album on Spotify at the moment, right?
The full album's, it's all on Spotify.
Right, but it's your only one.
That
so
is
far?
the only one that is currently up there, yeah.
Right. So I was like, not that I wouldn't expect a text or something saying, dude, I just dropped another one. Psh, I hit follow just so I don't know what it does to your algorithm, but I'm now a follower on Spotify as well. So
Cool.
hopefully
Thank
I think it all helps.
hopefully I
Yeah,
get
it all
updates and stuff,
every little bit helps.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
No, so like, what are you doing now?
So now I'm still working on a little bit of extra market boosting for this project. I'm doing a video with a friend of mine who I've known for many, many years. So, it's one of these interesting things where we had to come up with a good concept to kind of have a good exhibition of a story, being that, we're talking about, it's 3 minutes of an instrumental, Usually you're going to watch a video, you got MCs to look at, and there's a little bit more lively action to it, So wanted to come up with a concept that would fit with the project as a whole, but also could still be authentic to who I am as a creator and, just a creative-minded person, a thinker and a doer, So we came up with something and it was cool. I'm not going to really talk about too much of what that is. Once it pops out, then we can, I just want everybody to see it and take it for what it is. It can stand on its own.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But it was cool because one thing I will say is I was able to go in and get the green light to shoot in some places that I had been digging for records in for years.
Oh wow.
Like 30 years of digging, and in other venues that were kind of landmarks of early stomping grounds for me. And just kind of geographically speaking, kind of where I came up and where where I was living at the time, that the petri dish of getting into music and working and all that and getting just completely consumed by it, where it took place.
Wow.
So it's cool to show all that in there.
So this is almost like a display of your roots then.
It is. Yeah, and we're going to do it for a track that's called Decades of Dedication.
Oh,
so
okay.
it all makes perfect sense.
And I
for
love
it.
that track.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sweet.
It's a good, straightforward, just like solid beat.
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy going on, but it's got something to it. I like it. I mean,
yeah. Well, yeah.
take it or leave it.
I like it too.
It was
yeah.
really good.
I mean,
it's a good solid hour.
Yeah.
This is such a fucking good album. And who got your artwork for you? Because it matches that too.
So
You
that was
found
an
it
interesting journey.
I was gonna say it. The vibe of this, this inner
Yeah.
city, semi-industrial. It looks fucking rad, man.
So yeah, with that, what I did is I actually did a bunch of digging for, a lot of foreign samples.
okay,
You spend years digging and digging and digging and digging, right? And you physically go into a place, whether you're going for the $10 or the $1 record, you're at the mercy of kind of where you are regionally and what they get, and
sure.
you spend enough time digging in America, you're going to come across a lot of the same stuff. A lot of producers, you're fishing in the same pond, and eventually you start feeling like, man, this shit's getting fished out. I can't necessarily afford to get a ticket out to Japan, but that's where I want my material from. I want shit from Japan. I want to dig into crazy prog rock from Italy and Germany and that kind of stuff. I want some Brazilian.
Sure.
There's just so much out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the source material is non-American source material for it. So with that being said, that also lended itself to a lot of artwork inspiration from these different albums.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of did an amalgamation and used AI to kind of like,
put the blend on.
command a prompt to it, like, dystopian this, noirish vibe, city of, city of shit. And it kind of came up with that and had some things that, Brad actually helped me clean up certain things I just could not get off because I'm doing all this shit on my phone.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I don't have the full bells and whistles, so I'm just trying to, bang out what I can on my phone, low budget. If you can make it work good, do it, please. Don't spend $1 million up front when you can get the job done for way less,
Mm-hmm.
And, and I wouldn't have been able to fully get it cleaned up and finished without the help of Brad. Plus, he put some really dope Easter eggs in there on the cover that that I, until this thing actually comes out in a physical form. Right now, it's only digital. Hopefully, I get some traction to it. Enough people want it. If enough people say, "Yeah, I really want to see something pressed up physical," then I'll put the legwork out and I can get that done, and then we'll do a limited run. It'll be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. No, there's no question I would get a vinyl and a CD, and it would be up in the crib for sure.
Yeah.
You're talking about all this like digging and searching and all of this stuff. So let's just say when you find your material, where do you go mentally?
I turn back into the student and the critical listener first. First, I'll you find something that feels like, even if you haven't found something that you want to work with yet, right? Let's say I put a record on and the first song is like, nah, you're not really feeling it, but you still got to listen because you never know what kind of diamond in the rough might be hiding in there.
Mm-hmm.
And also, when you listen to a whole album, I mean, it's different back in the day, like records from the 70s versus projects that get put out now. They're just, the whole science and the spirituality of it almost is just different, right? So let's say I put on a 70s record, this whole album is going to have a certain sound to it. So even if there's nothing largely on this first track, there could be a breakdown or a little bridge that could be used with something way down the line. So I'm just going to, maybe if I hear a little ear candy, I'll just footnote that and keep moving on. So let's say then I find a song that I really want to chop up. Then I go into deep listen mode. I'm really just kind of listening to, if it's a vocal heavy song, I'm really trying to listen to where in between the words, or even what bleeds into a little bit of a word can I use to slowly restructure a 4 count or 8 count. I'm really kind of just trying to Frankenstein something together. But, okay, so maybe that might be you know, that's kind of the hands-on work of putting together. But if I'm really trying to listen, like, I don't know. I mean, tons of people, they do it a lot of different ways. And I definitely would not say that the way I dive in is the best way and the fastest way or most productive way to get stuff done. It's just how I work. So really what I do is I'll meditate on it. I'll play the song over and over again. And I'm listening and I'm listening and I'm meditating. And I'm also trying to like almost try to find ghost notes. Because what can I pull out of here that just really isn't up front? Because you can kind of find a lot of crazy shit when you unlearn what the rules of that song are by breaking it down and then slowly putting it back together the way you see fit. Because you'll find shit that you didn't hear and you can't find until you start remolding. So I really like to revel in that really childlike, playful period of the creative process where I'm not even in charge. I'm letting the source material show me where we're going. Because it all has where it wants to go anyway. You can only do so much, you know. You can only bully a beat so much before it just doesn't sound right. You know?
Right.
I have two questions based on your process, but like the first one, when you mentioned you go into that meditative state where you're just listening and listening, do you do that even for tracks that didn't grab you? Like, let's say, like you
That's
said,
a great question.
like you said, first track, you were like, it's not really doing it for me.
Yeah.
Will you listen to it to the point where you find something, or will you just move on?
Some of those tracks that don't have something right off actually have the best juice hiding in them. So sometimes you got to go harder on the meditation for them.
That's what I mean. Like, because I could see you doing that. It's a matter of getting past that initial knee-jerk reaction where you're like, this isn't really my thing. But if you're going to swim in it, you're like, oh, you know what? I didn't notice that on the first pass.
Definitely.
You know, so there was that. And then the second question I had was basically more on the nerdy side. Do you sit with like a notepad and a pencil and take time markers and be like, okay, track 1 right here, minute 35, need it? You know,
I would do that, but I have such a specific process where I will just kind of remember.
That's cool.
A lot of the times I'll know that like I won't leave a record without making sure I have hammered in where what is on it.
Okay, so yours is all audio. Like
it's all audio. It really is.
So
because I'm doing so much deep listening.
Yeah,
and I'm burning it into my brain.
That's cool.
You know, to a point of true obsession and insanity.
Yeah,
you know, it's ridiculous. So with that being said, what I notice too is like sometimes I get too deep with it though, you know, like, and you get too emotional with it and too attached. You know, I'm trying to, if you want to make beats and you want to get them off, sometimes I find that it's a hindrance that this is something that I've learned to kind of get past. It's kind of like in writing when you got to kill your darling.
Yeah.
You know, you got to realize like, okay, just because you think this is your favorite part and you think it's the shit doesn't mean that it's landing like that on anybody else, right?
Right.
And it just goes to show it's like, especially with music, something that's so subjective.
Yeah.
I find myself really trying to just let go of this romantic relationship, so to speak, for lack of a better term, that you can have with your own creative process. So I feel like it's a fine line because I need that deep listen, that meditative experience. That's kind of what helps get me into my workflow. But then once I recognize it, I know I really run that risk of coming out of it. But for the sake of being productive and moving into that place where you want to pump out volume, still not while giving up quality, but you want to get shit done and not sit here and be making love to the same beat for a week. You know what I mean?
Right.
I like to do a few a day. You know, and get a few under and see what incubates. I throw them in the barrel, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
See how it ferments before I move forward.
Let's just say you made something, you put it away, and you're like, I'm not into it. And then you forget about it, come back to it at another time with a fresh insight on it. And then as it turned into something, you're like, man, I really do fucking like this now.
Well, let me tag on to that. Are you talking about the source material, or are you talking about
something he's already in production?
He's already put something together.
Yeah, like he's made something, and you're like, it's all right. Because you put it away.
Like, do you do the same process with your product, where okay, I did it, maybe gave it some distance, you put it back on, and then do you swim in that for a while and see what comes out, or do you? just appreciate the work you did and was like, I like it, cool, it's in the bank?
It's a little bit of both.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll come back to it and I'll be like, yeah, no, you were right. It did not have what you needed that day, and it doesn't have it today.
Sure.
But then there'll be times where I'm like, okay, I'm in this mood now.
Yeah.
It's almost like genres, like for like, let's say you want to write a thriller, what if you're in comedy mode?
Right.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? It's
Right.
the same type of thing,
Right.
like it's what mood am I in today? Do I want to make something aggressive? And what am I fucking with this super low key jazz album for?
Mhm.
You got to find the right ingredients to cook the specific dish. But sometimes all I have are the peas and carrots of jazz. And for the sake of the discipline and keeping my reps up, I'm going to make something with it.
Right.
And if that's not where my full energy's at, I'll make it, put it on the side, and keep digging.
That
Okay.
makes sense. I get that.
Well, it makes total sense because you and I have had these conversations where, like, at the moment, I'm juggling 3 scripts and they couldn't be further apart.
Yeah.
I'm doing this thriller that's really depressing and depraved, and it's really kind of pulling at my guts a little bit. Then I got romantic comedy and then the Western we talked about. And I can't just choose a day and do this, or, Tuesday's Western day.
Sure.
Like you said, you gotta vibe with it. And if you're in this case, like I've been telling Brad, I've been in the pit for so long with this depressing thriller that I'm doing. I'm like, I need to just ride this one out until it's done
I hear that.
before I can switch gears and maybe cleanse the palate with something funny.
Yeah.
So it's amazing to me that you do the same process with music, because it's just, that's the mentality of the creator.
I know. But again, there's you reach that point where you do have to kind of reallocate, your follow through.
Yes.
And that it sounds like that's where you're trying to stay with, like, no, I need to try and not force it, but use discipline to get in that space.
Yes. Ride that wave while it's here,
Oh, that's so hard too.
It
It's
is.
so hard when there's no one cracking the whip and you got to do it to
yeah.
yourself. And it's so much easier to go, nah, I'll do something else.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then just to stay motivated and continue to push forward to make something happen from it. It's fucking insanely hard.
Especially if it's put you in an unhealthy headspace. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because
It's not fun when you put yourself in a dark place.
no, but the product that comes from it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was lucky enough
It's juicy shit, man.
to do it and then see it come to life
Oh,
on
absolutely.
screen, because of these guys. And it's just like,
It's
brutal.
heavy shit, but man, look at it, listen to it.
Yep.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah. Because again, it's like, I can't do music. I
Me
respect
neither.
it and I appreciate it. Having said that, it's like listening to your album, I'm just like fucking in awe.
Me too.
You know what I mean? Of just the way you're able to create this, man, is
Yep.
insane.
But I'm
Because it's so good.
I
It's
appreciate that.
so
Yeah.
good.
But it's just, to me, it's so fascinating right now to know that we all follow kind of the same piper. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah,
that.
it's the same thing.
It is. It's like everything he's saying. Yeah, I can't apply it to music.
It's,
I'm not a
it's
musical
the
person.
same recipe, different kitchen.
It is. And it's just, to me, that's fascinating that when you meet other creatives, you're like, oh, yeah, we all kind of use the same methods,
Yeah.
just for different media.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
And it's
Yeah.
cool to be able to be in awe of each other.
That's awesome.
You know, it is. Because it's like, just because he and I are friends, that's not the reason why I dig his stuff so much. It's like,
No.
I dig his stuff so much because it reached me when I heard the album. I put it on when I'm driving to LA.
Mm-hmm.
I put that
Nice.
shit on. Or if I'm writing, I put that shit on.
That's
you know?
the other
yeah.
thing, is using a friend's creativity to inform your own.
Yeah. Oh,
You know
no,
what
it's
I mean?
amazing. That's pretty fucking cool.
That's what I want it to do.
Which is so good,
yeah.
because the music informs everything I write.
Yeah.
So I'm more likely to run to you and use your creativity to inform mine than vice versa. Unless, you read a script of mine and go, you know what? The vibe he's got going here, I could probably do this. I could probably do that. I don't know if you do that where you watch something and go, if I was the composer.
Oh, I get inspired like that all the time.
That's fucking rad.
I listen-
That synergy's great.
I went like a few years where the only fucking thing I listened to were composers.
Yeah.
You go through these little pockets, through
Sure.
your little journey, in life. And I think it's interesting though. Like, if I had to kind of relate my discipline and how I look at it, I feel like I do kind of look at it like a writer's discipline,
Mm-hmm.
kind of basing off of, you think you look at somebody like Stephen King and like his book on writing.
Yeah.
Like when I read that book. I don't read a lot of books because I need a very specific material to keep me interested.
Sure.
I don't, it's crazy. I don't really do novels, but I love autobiographies, biographies, and underbelly shit of real true shit, and just listening to him talk about the discipline of doing it and like, it's probably a mistake, you know what I mean? You should go do something else. But like, that's the kind of shit that I like, these small, tiny windows that you have to try and squeeze through to express yourself,
No, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And it pays off though.
You get the payoff.
Yeah. You absolutely do.
Because you had to you had to dive in and survive your own shit to come out the other side, and hopefully you didn't lose perspective in the process.
Sure.
Yeah.
Very big. That's very important.
Yeah. No, it's extremely important because it is like when you're trying to create something, and again, this is the kind of thing, and I'm sure it's the same way for you. It is, maybe, I don't know, I could ask you, for us, like, especially for me, it's very lonely. It's a very lonely process when you're doing this creating, you know what I mean? Because it's like you're alone, you're in your own headspace, and you're trying to go to a place, and you're trying to, you want to get clinical with it, but you don't want to get stagnant with it when you're creating. You know what I mean? It's like, it's easy to phone something in, and create something, but it's like, when you're not bouncing shit off and you're not getting like a feedback, it's tough. Like, am I going in the right direction? And then you start getting down on yourself.
Yeah. The second that narrative begins, it's like, oh fuck. Now this is gonna run wild until I can re-wrangle it and slowly get home again.
Yeah.
And I am that kind of person where I will go down that road a little bit. I'll keep working though. I'll still work.
Yeah.
But there's just pure fucking insanity going on.
It is. I mean, he and I have shared horror stories of where we put ourselves, for writing. We've touched on it a bit on the show, but you go to a place where it's like, you're fucked, mentally.
Yeah.
When you put yourself, because it's like, we have to become these characters. We have to live this life. We have to believe it. We have to create it, And so it's like, it's got to be the same thing when you're doing this because you're just so immersed in it.
Yeah.
All you can do is just eat, sleep, and be this until it's done.
Everybody loves the honeymoon phase of your creative process.
Yeah.
Like when shit is just like, you're in it and everything's free. It's just flowing. You know what I mean? All the fucking ideas are coming to you. You feel like there's no roadblock in sight. But, you're always going to reach some point. And for me, that point is when I'm getting to the final mixing stages, because I don't send shit off to mix. I'm trying to save money, and I want to do it all myself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I really fucking lose my mind,
Right.
because I'm trying to mix a project in an apartment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In a room that doubles as an office and a guest room / home studio. So I can only treat the room so much. I'm not hooking up a sub because I don't want to, make the neighbors hate me and all that.
Yeah. Sure.
So, you have to do some things that you wouldn't otherwise to try and get to your end result, your end product. And yeah, that's the time where keeping perspective and knowing when to take breaks and step away to regain it for me has been a big lesson in this last year with having to do this project at home.
Yeah.
Versus like a regular studio, which I had access to in the past and they currently don't.
Yeah. Well, I definitely want to say congratulations on the album. It's fucking amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to the next one. So.
Oh yeah, there's more.
Of course.
There's more.
I don't know if you want to talk about it. If not, we'll move on. But I had sent you a few songs.
Oh, I'd love to talk about that. I'm excited about that.
Okay.
I'm excited to get the part 2 of your list.
Okay, good, because I am working on part 2. But I'm being a little more methodical with part 2. I went fun with the first one.
Okay.
Because I wanted to see what you could do
Sure.
with these tracks, because they're important to me because these movies are on my shelves. I grew up watching these movies. But the second one is going to be a little more meaningful.
Okay. Still movie related?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Okay.
100%. And I think, again, I'm not trying to like, oh, let me just throw a wrench in the gears, but I'm throwing something at you that you might not normally want to work with.
Oh, fuck it. Bring it.
Yeah. And
that's
but
where
again,
I'm at. I want that.
I think you're going to appreciate it. It's nothing silly, but it's just like, oh, this might be a little challenging, for you to get creative.
See, that's what I like about the whole process. And that's why I asked you to begin with, because it's always interesting to be presented with material. You know, you spend so much time digging and trying to find it on your own.
Oh,
but
sure.
You bring someone else into the fold and you're like, say, hey, I'm really curious what you have. What would you like to see flipped into something else, you know?
Yeah.
Especially coming from, you know, TV and film and like the deepest wealth that you can even imagine of music that goes on with that, scores, these different bands, you know, like it's deep, and I love that stuff. I love cinematic sounding music. You know, we've already got a few going. Brad sent me like 10, I believe. And, you know, I chopped up most of them and got a lot of them going. Some didn't really go as far as I wanted to.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, can you hit me with another list?
Yeah.
Because I'd like for us to be able to have enough that are sick that could
Right.
be a little nice capsule.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And then we
Exactly.
can just put that little capsule out.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, I think we do it tight, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We do like just 10 tracks, you know what I mean? We don't need to do a hour-long 18-track thing.
Right. Right.
Even at that though, is that something that would be put out for other people to hear when it's done, or is this a project between the two of you?
No, we put it out.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
The
again,
whole point is to share it.
right. And I'm hitting him with some films that are important to me,
Yeah.
that I love, you know, that I think would be amazing to have his flavor on them.
Yeah.
Like I played a snippet of one for you.
Yes.
And you were like, holy shit.
Yeah.
What'd you show him, the John Harrison one?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Fucking dope.
Yeah. And it's like, I think John would be like, fuck, I wish I would have done that. Like,
Seriously. Yeah.
'cause it's good, dude.
See, that's the thing, like right there, like that one, I made it, it was cool, but that's not my darling.
Exactly.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it could be somebody else's.
Right. Exactly. And
Absolutely.
yeah. Yeah. No, it was rad. Like I was even happy that you even just reached out, you know, and I was like, oh my God, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, I would love that. And again, like I don't think I came at you with some super hard stuff. You know,
No,
I think
no.
some of it was easy to work
I think
with.
that the most difficult one, which we could say, I think, is Suspiria.
Yeah.
I mean, that's difficult. There's only so much you could do with it.
Right.
And it's been done.
Mm-hmm.
It's been done a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to bring to that. That's entirely fresh.
Yeah.
That hasn't already been, the ground has been covered.
Right.
Not just that,
So-
but it's prog to begin with, so it's already fucking wild.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, so with that, and there's only a few tight sections to work with. Which
Yeah.
are just so immediately recognizable.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the point for some of these things.
Yeah.
The point is to be on the nose with some of these. It is what it is. Let's not try to act like it isn't.
Yeah.
Right.
know?
No, that's fun. I'm looking forward to that. Like I said, I'll get you those other ones. And
Yeah, whenever you reach that point.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm only up to like 6.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
You know, right now. But yeah, man, no, it's.
Did you get I sent you an email.
Oh yeah, I got him.
Okay.
Oh
okay,
yeah,
cool.
no, I got him. I was
Yeah.
playing him for him.
I was
Nice.
shit, fucking
Yeah.
yeah.
He was listening to him and he was like, "Well, that's good." And then I was like, "Oh no, that's really good." Like, Jesus Christ, that's fucking great. Like it just kept ramping up.
It
you
did,
know,
'cause it was just amazing. It was
Yeah.
awesome shit.
Yeah, I'm glad you liked it.
like I love all of it. I love the album. You know, I love what you do. I love, again, even us going all the way back to our first feature that we did, you know, like you scoring that stuff, doing that shit. I'm like, I love that. I still listen to that shit.
I wish I still partitioned off a lot of time to just do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But, you know, I guess I'm an extremist in a way that when I'm going hard on something, that's all I have.
Of course.
You know?
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think we're all like that.
Yeah.
I would
know.
say so.
Yeah. So what inspires you? Like, is it films? What's the kind of shit you're getting into? Like, I need to watch this right now.
Right. I mean, yeah, I mean, I love TV and film, so I'm always watching shit like that. But what inspires me? I think other music inspires me. Not necessarily other hip hop, just other music.
Mhm.
Music from, I love digging up gems that are from back in the day that like, damn, I can't believe I never heard this.
Yeah.
And it's not stuff that's right on the nose. It's kind of harder to find stuff. And, you know, if it's foreign,
Mhm.
it was made in a time before the internet and streaming. So how the hell were you going to hear it?
Right.
Sure.
So I love taking advantage of today's technology to listen to some like golden shit from a yesteryear,
Mhm.
Mhm.
analog period, you know?
Something far flung that may not have gotten recognized over here.
Yeah. And that's really a lot of what it is I like finding inspiration from non-hip hop music and then figuring out a way to transmute that back
Okay.
into hip hop music.
I got that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. you were talking about like digging and all this stuff, right?
Mhm.
So have you ever just done like a blind grab just based on a cover, not even trying to listen
All the
to
time.
the music?
That
Yeah.
was
all the time.
I was gonna ask the same thing.
You have to, because
Yeah.
you spend so much time, like, you know, you think about like a detective who's just hard nosed on a certain lead, and now he's got the blinders on and he's not seeing all these other clues
Right.
to solve this big case of making some good music. You know, I got to the point where I'm like, you know what? No lead. I'm just going off of the top level shit. This looks cool. Oh, it's got a naked chick on the cover. This has got to be crack.
Yeah.
There's got to be some crazy shit on here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
A lot of times it is. Naked chicks do well.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'll just look at the back. Never mind what the band is or what the cover looks like. I'll go to the back, just look for the year it came out, and then just look if they list off the instruments that were recorded on the album.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll be like, damn, okay, there's a fucking big variety of instruments here. I want this. I want to hear what they did with these instruments. Or you start recognizing musicians over time. You're like, oh, damn, he's on this record. Okay, I see the camp, and I see how these people move in and out of different studios and who's going to play with who and how it comes out on this Stax album. So this other label might have something similar to it.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I guess there's a little bit of breadcrumb, but the blind digs are fun. I'll do a lot of that with like dollar records because whatever, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Go in and like throw $50, leave with like 50 records of just like God knows what.
Because that was the other, when you mentioned foreign stuff, because you're going through a record store, I doubt for every cover you come across, you're whipping out Spotify and going, okay, let me get a sample or two and see what this sounds like.
Yeah.
I figure you're going into it blind
Yeah, you
a
are.
lot of these times, and you're just kind of like, let me just take it home and see what's what.
Yeah. And honestly, up until 2 years ago,
Mhm.
I didn't even have a record store that I could go into where I could play the record first.
Yeah,
I know they're out there and I know they've been out there. I just didn't have any within my reach.
sure.
But I got a spot down in San Diego that I go to. I'm not going to say the name, but you know, they let you play records, you know, and that's insane because I
Sure.
could spend a whole day in there. In fact, the last time I was there, I got a parking ticket because I got lost. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
got lost in the vinyl, you know? But yeah, that's the truth. How can I know there's good shit on here without actually hearing it? So you have to start dissecting the way they package it.
Of course.
I'll take the record out and you get used to looking at the lines on the pressing to where it's busy and where it thins out, breaks down, and builds up. And if you know this, the record's got a lot of spots where it thins out, you're like, ooh, this might give room for just the piano to shine here. Or maybe there's just a section where it's just like guitar and bass. Or, you know, just something where there's room. Because if it's too full, you know, you can't really... I'm not thinking about, do I have the technology to separate the stems?
Yeah.
You know, because when we all started doing this shit, that was just science fiction, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I know we have it now, but,
Now it's
you know, you had to find the
take
section.
it for granted.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if that answered your question. I think I
It
got
does.
lost in the experience.
No, it does because, you know, it's not like, I imagine it's similar, but, you know, if you know, Brad and I go to cons and we'll root through DVD bins and shit like that, we can spot, oh, it was directed by this guy. You know, never heard of that. Or blind buys for movies and media like that are a little bit different because you do have a little bit more. Whereas in audio, it's like, all I really have is the cover. And, you know, like you said, unless they list the instruments on the back or you've gotten familiar with certain artists, because it sounds like you purposely go off the beaten path. That's even less information.
You have to now. If you don't, you're going to pull out the same trout that somebody else did last week.
Exactly. And that's the thing. It's like, I imagine everything you grab is based on the visual first, and you just take it home and hope for the best,
Yeah.
which is, who the fuck knows what kind of polka you grab.
Oh,
You know what
man.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. You got to play the numbers game with it. You got to be okay with taking, it's a minimal risk, you know, like, but
Sure.
you got to go into it knowing I'm going to spend this money today and there's a chance that I could get shut out.
yeah,
And it happens. But the crazy thing is, back in the day, you could go fucking months without like finding something just insane that you want to work with, right?
yeah,
You just keep going digging. Okay, I'll go to this other spot. And, you know, sometimes you just get shut out, like one after another, you know, on like just the absolute gem. But see, the beauty of that too is then you really know how to go in deeper. And that's where that super deep critical listening comes in.
Mhm.
Because you go for 6 weeks of nothing, you're going to go back into that pile of shit. And you're
Yeah.
like, I am going to fucking make something out of this.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you learn more. You teach yourself new shit. That's how you can grow and get better by like that's that other side of the discipline where it's like you can't always be looking for just that needle drop, just ready to go sample. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to know how to really get in there and find something that isn't really there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why I like scores, because there's a lot of them don't have that like right there for you. You
Mhm.
got to go in and you got to listen for 6 minutes before something even comes up.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah, they change
Yeah, they
drastically
change.
from 1 second to the next.
Yeah.
A score can be completely
Because
different.
they're matching a movie.
Yeah.
They're matching action that you're not seeing.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, though.
I have a question that I think would be fucking cool is to take a movie and then rescore it.
Yeah. For your own.
Like a
shits and
bootleg
giggles.
score?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean that's something like we could do. It would be fucking cool.
I think
like
it would be rad.
because like we said, we're about to do a commentary for a couple of movies.
Yeah.
I think it would be cool to do a listening party. It's like we'll pick a movie, you score it.
It
play the
sounds
score.
interesting. It
Yeah,
sounds,
I think it would be
sounds fun.
something just completely though, like kind of like out of your realm. Like that's kind of the thing. It's like a little bit of
Like a rom-com.
yeah, something
Yeah.
that we're like like kissing a fool. Like let's do a score for kissing a fool. Like something.
Good pull.
Yeah, thank you. But just something like out of your wheelhouse. You know what I mean? I think it would be interesting, that challenge, because like again, it's like always trying to challenge ourselves, and to be creative and come up with something that's like different.
Mm-hmm.
If I could,
Yeah.
if I could suggest silent movies, because it's always like that old timey carousel.
Right,
music.
right.
It's like a silent movie
Yeah.
with like Johnny's beats.
Well, you know what's cool too?
Fuck.
If we were to do a
Interesting.
silent movie, there's a lot of movies in the public domain that we could actually show.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
We could actually do them like
Legit.
make a copy and actually put it out like on our YouTube or some shit like that.
Yeah.
I just think that would be
Yeah, that's
fucking cool.
interesting.
Yeah, I think that would be something fun. Like, taking an older horror movie or some shit,
'Cause that's
some gothic movie, and just putting your own sounds to it.
Well,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
they put out, I think it was Image Entertainment had put out 20 years ago, a copy of Nosferatu, but it was to the tracks of Typo Negative. And it was just tracks. So it wasn't Typo Negative scoring the film.
Yeah.
It was just kind of in conjunction with Roadrunner Records kind of thing. So it was all pre-existing songs,
Yeah.
but it matched the film beautifully.
Yeah.
And what I wound up doing was when I would watch these horror films, these silent ones, I would turn the movie down, pull up some album, and just let it play and see what matched.
Yeah.
And to have someone actually put original music of their own to it, that would be a cool process.
Yeah, you could get like one of those, Pink Floyd Wizard of Oz things.
I was getting ready to say that.
That's
right
exactly
now.
what I was
Yeah.
thinking of. I'm like, because that's a theory. People
Yeah.
I don't know if that was ever substantiated that they
Yeah.
purposely did.
No,
that.
I don't think they did.
That's
but,
a happy accident.
But have you done it?
I have.
Yeah, but it matches.
It does. And that's the thing though.
Like, because there's actual beats
I know.
that hit.
It's
that's
pretty
what's
wild.
crazy.
Yeah.
Because I do that a lot with just random albums that I'll listen to. I watched The Cat and the Canary from 1922, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I just picked at random a Nox Arcana album. They're kind of like,
Oh, I'm familiar with them.
yeah. 20 minutes into the movie, the film shows a grandfather clock striking midnight. And the song that was playing, suddenly I heard a church bell. Dong, dong. I couldn't have planned that. Sometimes that shit just happens by happenstance. Whereas
did you say dong or gong?
dong, I got dick on the brain.
Okay, all right, just checking.
So, but someone who would actually do it purposely, be like, all right, we're starting this movie and these are the beats I put to it to match up with everything. That would be fucking dope.
It
It
would
would be cool. I think it would have to be something classic.
I think
Yeah.
so too.
You
I think
gotta
so
you
too.
gotta go deep dive.
Yeah.
Yes, for
no.
sure.
Yeah.
But again, that's how my brain thinks. It was just
No, I think
it'd
it
be
would be-
fucking cool.
Really
Yeah.
cool.
I think it'd be a cool idea.
Yeah, who knows though with like the Pink Floyd and Wizard of Oz thing. Maybe they just kind of tapped into the same cadence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like they just happen to land on that same kind of like beat pace.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe
Without
they
a
were
doubt.
filming and the production had that similar
Yeah. You never know. The flow, the algorithm.
the flow.
Yeah.
Plus
the
there's
fucking algorithm.
there's also the psychology of if you think it matches, it will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
Definitely.
You know, but that's what I mean. Like the Pink Floyd Wizard of Oz thing, there's so much circumstantial, suggestive, you know, whereas like what you proposed to Johnny, it's like,
Yeah.
no, this is what he saw and this is the vibe he put to it.
Yeah.
And that would just be fucking cool.
Oh, I think it would too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, because like we have, which I'll probably tap you for this project too, because Richard and I have an idea that we're working on right now that we're trying to figure out the best way to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're going to do is we're finding a movie that's in the public domain, and we're going to acquire it, and then we're going to sort of redo it in our style.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's like a mystery science theater kind of a tip, but it's a little different.
Okay.
And I think it would be cool maybe if like we'll toss it to you and
But you want to reshoot it?
no.
Oh, okay.
No. Like I said, like once we're done, I'll actually
Okay.
fill you in on the whole
Yeah.
thing. Like I think it'd be pretty cool.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah. So, well, we're talking about movies, so just curious.
Mhm.
Have you been watching anything? Like anything out there?
I haven't been watching a lot of movies,
No?
to be honest. I've been watching a lot of TV, but I've been in this when I'm done doing like work for the day and I really just want to like tap out.
Yeah.
It's been I've been doing a lot of reruns.
Yeah, me too.
Or just diving back and getting to some old shit that I just didn't get into when it was hot because
Yeah.
everybody was talking about it and I
can't-
wanted nothing to do with it.
I do the same
I'm
thing.
right there with
Yeah,
you.
you're
I'm
one of
the
those
same way.
assholes.
I am one of those assholes too.
The amount of shit I got for just getting around to Breaking Bad about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
People are like, what the fuck? Are you the only person? And I'm like, well, yeah, because at the time, no one would fucking shut up about it. And I was tired of hearing about it. So I wound up seeing it like 10 years after it ended.
Yeah,
you
see, I
know,
love that though.
Yeah.
Because you got to enjoy that drug just for you.
just
Instead
for
of
me.
everybody being high on it at the same time.
Exactly. I mean, I did Sopranos during COVID.
Yeah.
I still get shit for not watching Walking Dead. It's everywhere.
You know
so
what?
I'm like,
but
no,
it's sort of convoluted though.
it is. But at the same time, I'm like,
It is.
I get the shit because I'm the horror guy.
Yeah.
So they're
okay, I
like,
could see that.
You don't watch Walking Dead? And I'm like, when Walking Dead's out of my face,
Yeah. Then maybe
I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
You know,
Maybe watching the first maybe 7 seasons would be fine.
Yeah,
Like-
I hear you. I hear you.
Because then it just kind of trails off into what?
well, you got Fear and all the, there's all these spin-offs.
But I mean,
now.
doesn't like Daryl Dixon has his own,
Yeah, he's got his own thing now too. And it's just,
and then they go overseas, and
It's
then
a-
there's like the
yeah.
Fear, and like it's like I don't know.
that's what I mean.
Come on,
It's like,
rein it in. The
but
fuck
I'll-
are we doing here?
But one day I'm going to go, you know what? I'm going to give this a shot finally.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? When I'm ready.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It'll happen.
but I
Yeah,
just
it's
don't
not
think
going
it's,
anywhere.
it's never going to be Daryl Dixon for me though. I'm not just gonna be like, today's the day. I'm gonna fucking pop in this Daryl Dixon shit. I cannot wait to tear into this shit.
Okay, so I had that day where I'm like, okay, let's see what's up, Daryl.
Oh, you did do it.
Yeah, I
oh,
went there.
Shit. Okay.
I went overseas.
Okay.
Yeah.
I washed up on
You
shore.
did. Okay. Okay.
And this is how I went into it. I'm like, okay, I know the formula, but we're just getting a different backdrop.
Yep.
Right. Right.
And really, I think for me, as certain things were building up, they were developing some characters, so you were kind of getting to know some people. And unfortunately, it was the thing for me where I can't even say necessarily anything bad for the show. There's just so much content out there
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I think I just goldfish minded out
Yeah.
and just like went on to something else,
Mm.
you know?
Mhm.
But to go back to what you said, what I have been watching lately is I've been watching Oz.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the prison show.
You've seen
Yeah.
it?
I remember it.
I've never seen it.
I didn't watch it regularly, but
Yeah. But you're familiar.
I'm familiar with
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm not against it. It was just one of those things where, oh my God, it's the greatest fucking show. You got to watch it.
Exactly.
Fuck
Right.
you.
So
I
you're
don't
like,
care.
no, I don't.
Yeah, I don't
Same
fucking want to
thing.
watch
Yeah.
it. Oz, Wizard. I'm there.
Yeah.
Oz, prison. Fuck you.
No.
Yeah. So now that nobody
fuck
talks
each other.
about it, I'm like, fuck it. Let's
Now
go.
it's time.
Now it's time for
Yeah.
Well,
me.
it's time.
Yeah, I like that. No, I'm totally on board with that. I've been rewatching a lot of shit.
Yeah. I've
you
been
know,
doing a lot of
because I feel like stuff is just it's all the same.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
again, my kids are into this Squid Games.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
haven't seen any.
I've never seen a fucking episode.
That's another one of those
I hear
things
it's
for me.
great, but I'm like, you know what? Nah, stop.
Yeah, I'm
I
sure
don't-
it's
I don't-
great.
Yeah,
I did-
I don't want to take it. I don't want
watched
to take
the
that trip.
I did watch the first season, but it was like just ramping up.
Mm-hmm.
Like if someone were to say if I hadn't watched it, now, I'd be like, oh God, no, I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
And I still haven't watched season 2 because it has reached that point where I'm like, now it's a thing. And
Well, now it's a fucking vaccination.
Yeah.
You know, that's how it is when this comes out and everybody's on and everybody's have you seen it yet? Have you seen it yet? Have you got it yet?
Yep. And it's like, I watched Squid Game back when it was just kind of like little titters about it, you know, and I was like, sounds kind of dope. And it did wrap me up.
Yeah.
But
no, the premise sounds fucking rad.
And then it dropped, I guess you could say, where suddenly, you know, the wave went out and everybody watched it. And now it's like, now that season 2 is out, I'm just kind of like, I'll get to it.
Yeah.
You know, whereas if it didn't blow up the way it did, I probably would have been chomping at the bit to jump to it. But now I'm like, it's too in my face, way too in my face.
Well, what's your go-to? What about you? Do you TV, movies?
My movies, primarily. Because the same thing with like podcasts and stuff. You know, we were talking about when I'm at work, I'll go months without listening to any music. It'll just be like podcast after podcast after podcast. Whoa. Then I jump off of that, and then it's like, you know, what podcasts have you listened to lately? Oh, I haven't listened to a podcast in months. I've been listening to movie scores, and I've been on like an 80s tip where I'm like, I go back and listen to a bunch of pop music, or, you know, maybe I got back into metal and all that shit.
You autistic?
A little bit.
Okay.
But it's like, I do the same thing with movies and TV where sometimes I'm like, you know what? I feel like binging something.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've got like 9 seasons of X-Files on Blu-ray at home that I'd never, you know, I watched it for a couple of years, but who knows? One day I'm going to be like, all right, episode 1, season 1, let's do it. And then you mentioned when you moved, when we were talking about cartoons and animated stuff, you blew through fucking 30 years of the goddamn Simpsons.
I did.
I'm like, wow, that's a fucking marathon.
I was watching like 2 months worth of Simpsons a night.
That's insane.
Yeah, with the 22-minute episodes.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, granted, at least they're bite-sized. You know,
they were.
Something like X-Files and Walking Dead and all that. These are like
that's a fucking investment.
It is, and it's like you really got to be in the
I think The Simpsons is a way larger investment.
Yeah?
Oh my God.
Only because
for
of the
this many years? Are you fucking kidding me?
I guess because what is there, like 900 seasons?
Yeah. That's what I mean.
So,
it's like I can't think of another show.
Okay, you're watching it on Disney or how are you watching it?
I'm watching it on Disney. Yeah.
So you're not even getting the raw version.
No, I'm not. I hate to use the term, but I am getting the woke Simpsons.
Sort of, because I want to say
because it's like, Apu, where'd you go? You're fucking gone. You don't exist no more. Apu's gone.
In season 1, there's no Apu.
The new Simpsons. Yeah, he's gone because someone didn't like him. So there's no more Hindu.
So there's no fucking Quickie Mart.
No, but at the same time,
it's gone.
At least tell me this. At least tell me this though, because we have talked in the past about how Disney has edited their own movies.
Yeah.
If you go back to old Simpsons, it's still there.
The same.
Okay, good.
It's still the same.
So you're talking about when we reach
new.
Pre-Apu, post-Apu.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly.
Okay.
The day Apu left is when The Simpsons went woke.
Okay.
Because Dr. Hibbert, it's an actual black actor now that was his voice.
Harry Shearer.
Yeah, it doesn't even sound the same anymore.
When did Disney acquire Simpsons?
It was when they bought Fox. It's probably been 5-6 years now. If
that's when
longer.
this happened.
Yeah.
Probably.
Because people, I mean, they complained right away.
Yeah.
Which I was like, then don't fucking watch then.
Yeah.
That's been our argument since day one.
And they did some shit with Splash, right?
Splash. They covered Daryl Hannah's nudity.
Oh, yeah.
And granted, it's a PG movie, and we've had this talk before where PG in the 80s was a hell of a lot different than PG now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean,
so much better.
You woke exactly, because you woke me up to certain things when I was like, oh, that was a PG-13. You're like, no, that was a PG.
No, and like Splash, that's a PG movie from 84. When she gets out of the water and marches up to the Statue of Liberty, she is nude. Like it's bare
cheeks,
ass,
right?
bare tits.
Oh, there's titty in there.
There's tits in it, yeah. And it's like, when I watched it, I didn't watch it. I had heard that Disney had done this really fucking lame, almost like gave her like a fur bikini, kind of like a Raquel Welch kind of deal. And I was like, bullshit. This is clickbait. Fucking stupid. No, I went and put it on and was like, you got to be fucking
Imagine how much they paid to have somebody key that shit in.
Exactly.
And it didn't
frame by frame.
Didn't even look good. It looked fake. Like it looked really bad.
Because their titties are so bad they will just destroy you and turn you into a fucking deviant. If
Yeah,
see
you
a
know,
bear.
if you see any kind of nudity, you're just your face is gonna melt like Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yep.
But it's
Oh,
that was the first time
God.
I was like, what the fuck? I mean, there's edited for television, and then there's this shit.
Yeah,
You know.
neutered,
Oh my
neutered.
God.
Completely neutered. And
Yeah.
it's like, why don't you just throw a blanket over the kid's head while he's watching it, for Christ's sake? It just drove me nuts. But it was like, when you said Apu was gone, I'm like, so did they go back to 80s, 90s Simpsons and just, he's not there
Yeah,
anymore?
no. Oh my God, could you fucking imagine if they would have done that?
Well, let me tell you already.
That's what I'm saying.
that would have been
That's
horrible.
Here's the thing already. I know you remember this episode because I forget what season it was. Within the first 10 years, Michael Jackson is the
mental patient.
Mm-hmm.
That's not on Disney Plus.
I knew that.
You had to know at some point, you were like, I went from episode 12 to episode 14.
Yeah,
Yep.
And
Yeah.
it's like, that's fucked.
yeah.
That's so fucked. Just put the fucking catalog out there,
Mhm.
man.
And why did they do that?
I don't know. There
Oh,
had to
they were trying to play it safe.
That's insane.
Either playing it, that's the thing. It's either the notoriety of Michael Jackson for whatever reason, which,
Because of the moonwalk?
yeah.
People are so anti-moonwalk.
What do they own his catalog now? And they want to make sure they can sell it.
That's the only thing. I wonder if it was a litigation kind of thing. Maybe his estate was like, if we're not getting paid and he's dead, then fuck you. You're not going to play this anymore.
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
maybe.
Oh, maybe.
It could be
So they're like,
something
yeah,
that
okay.
it could be something that's stupid.
But see, here's the thing, too. I also think that when you're a guest star on a show and you sign off, that's it.
you
they
got,
own it.
You got paid, and
Yeah, and it's
now,
over. It's
now
done.
it's Fox's.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Because it's not like a song that he wrote that they're using in the show. It's his voice.
Happy birthday,
But-
Lisa.
True. That's
but
true.
it's not even Michael Jackson. Because even then, they didn't put Michael Jackson
No,
in
they
the
didn't put
credits.
his name.
Yeah.
It was like, you're not fooling anybody. But
Right. Which I thought was
Right,
funny
right.
because it was a big white guy.
Exactly.
Like
you
a
know.
big bald white guy would play
And
Michael
then at,
Jackson.
then at the end, he's like, hey,
Yeah.
you know, I like to liven people's lives. You know,
Yeah.
puts a hat on and walks away.
Which I had already heard those stories about Michael Jackson. I don't know if you've heard those stories or not. Recently, they've come out where, like, God, I can't remember where I heard this shit. I'm going to fucking butcher this story. But, like, someone said that they were at a function and Tupac was there with his date, who was someone's daughter that Michael Jackson knew. And Michael Jackson started squaring up to him like, you can't talk to her like that. And the dude's like, fuck you, Michael. Like, mind your fucking business. And Michael attacked him and fucked Tupac.
I did hear this. Story.
Did you hear
No.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
That I guess Michael was like a fucking G. Like he had a different voice that he would like put like be able to talk in like a manlier voice, I guess. And supposedly he used it in some video game. Or
Oh
some
my
shit.
God.
Yeah, there's this whole wild fucking shit out
That's
there.
insane. I'd never heard any of that.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I'd like to hear that from a few more places.
Instead of just the one.
Just the one.
Exactly. I know.
Because I heard it somewhere within the fucking algorithm of the social media
Yeah.
world. You know, so
Yeah.
you never fucking know.
Because you never know.
But I
No.
love the story.
I love the story. I want the story to be true.
Yeah.
I do. Because again, I've also seen other things about Tupac that are like kind of questionable. Like, so what I had saw was,
Are you going to get us all shot from the East Coast?
well, I mean, you are from Detroit, so you should be fine with it.
I should be okay.
You're-
But,
you're
but I'll
okay.
have to mourn.
You're okay.
Like, oh, my friends talk shit.
No, I had heard because of the success of NWA,
Uh-huh.
which were real drug dealers and gang members that formed this group and
Yes.
then were like basically Eazy-E, who was a notorious drug dealer.
Hardcore, yeah.
Paid for all the studio time and paid for everything, you know. I guess because of the success of that, other record labels started seeing the monetization that was happening, but they're dangerous. So let's get theater kids and make them gang members, make them gangster rappers.
Oh, my God.
So there's supposedly, well, not supposedly, because I've seen the video, and I'm sure other people have too, of Tupac, younger, doing an interview where he's like super, oh my God, doing this kind of shit.
Holy
And like,
shit.
it's pretty questionable.
It's like that old commercial. Was it Sprite? Where you see the three basketball players walk up to the camera like, drink Sprite, motherfucker. You know, they're all hood and shit. And
That
all
wasn't Disney.
But then you hear cut, and they're just like, oh my God. You don't remember that? It was one of the funniest fucking commercials.
I don't remember that commercial.
They were a bunch of theater guys, and they're just like, they were hardcore at first. Then when they yelled cut, they're just like, I can't work like this. And it was the funniest fucking commercial ever.
Yeah. No,
I'll find it.
Please.
It'll be yours.
please do. Please
Yeah,
do.
it is.
Yeah. So
Because it was one of those commercials. Usually commercials, I'm like already surfing for a few minutes and then I'll come back. If that one was playing, I was like, everybody shut up. This commercial's the greatest.
oh man, talk about a fucking 180 on the show. We got very
Okay.
deep and like
Fuck it.
everything was cool, and then all of a sudden,
Drink Sprite, motherfucker.
Tupac's gay, Michael Jackson's a badass.
Yeah, how the fuck?
Okay, here I got a question for you guys.
Okay.
What's like a guilty pleasure show?
Guilty pleasure? Oh, that's
Show that you watched, that's not Red Shoe Diaries.
yeah.
Golden Girls,
Golden Girls, nice.
Okay.
hardcore Golden Girls,
Yeah.
and I own that shit.
Fuck yeah.
And someone even got me a Golden Girls coffee cup one time as a present.
Oh, nice.
That's funny.
I don't even remember that.
It
But
was
that
you.
sounds like something I would do.
No, it was you. You got me a
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I have a Golden Girls coffee mug that Johnny got me.
Fuck yeah.
So, yeah, that is a big guilty pleasure for me.
I don't know. Because I really didn't watch anything that I was like embarrassed to say I watched.
No shame.
I don't think. Well, okay, I got one. Because I mean, you have to get shit for it, right?
Peep Show
Like,
2.
No. I'm still very much a loyal America's Funniest Videos watcher.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yeah.
still on?
It's still on.
Wait, new episodes?
New episodes. It's been on over 30 years.
Shut up.
Who's the host?
Okay, first of all,
Whoa.
here's the guilty pleasure part. We started with Bob Saget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't he do it anymore?
I don't know what's worse, the question or the laughter that we followed it up with.
Something about a head injury, you know.
Went to his head?
But yeah, it was him, and then it was like D.L. Hughley for a season, and then it was
What the fuck?
like Daisy Fuentes,
Wow.
and then for a good 20 years, Tom Bergeron.
That's right.
So
okay, I do remember that.
Tom Bergeron probably had the longest tenure.
Okay.
And then he retired about 10 years ago. And now it's been Alfonso Cuarón from Fresh Prince.
Huh.
Alfonso Ribeiro. Bob Marley.
Bob Marley. Who the fuck's Alfonso Cuarón? It's not even Christmas.
Fucking Mike Brady.
It's Mike Brady. Alfonso Rivera, you said?
Alfonso Ribeiro.
Okay. So
From
yes,
the Fresh Prince.
Carlton.
Oh, wow.
He's been hosting it for the last 10 years.
Damn.
Now I'm going to ask you this. Are you sure?
The guy from Fresh Prince. I'm positive about that.
No shit.
Actual phone book name, couldn't tell you. He's an Alfonso of some sort. I'm sure in another 10 years it'll be Steve Harvey.
Yeah, right.
Well, he's got the feud, man.
He's got the feud and just about everything else.
Yeah.
Feud fever.
But
and I don't mind the feud.
but no joke, I still have people who are like, "You still watch that?" And I'm like, I'm a simple creature.
Yeah.
If someone's gonna fall down the stairs or slip on ice, I'm gonna
You're gonna
fucking
laugh
laugh.
at it. Well, look, here's the thing. I'm not shocked that you like it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm shocked it's still on.
I am also shocked.
Oh sure.
Yeah.
Because nowadays, it's like somebody's going to watch Tosh.0,
Yep.
Right.
anything on just fucking Instagram.
Yeah.
Facebook
Oh
or
geez,
something, right?
you could
Yeah.
go on YouTube and find like fail videos that
Yeah.
are like 2 hours long.
Yeah.
Or ridiculousness, right?
Ridiculousness,
Isn't that what
yeah.
they do on that show?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like the same shit.
absolutely. That's what,
It's
I
really
had-
that's what spawned off of it. You know,
Yeah.
it was
Well, I guess I'm glad the OG is still.
the
in it.
OG is
Yeah.
still thriving. It's still there, and it doesn't seem to be
Wait, who? Alfonso who? Like, what did you call him at first?
Curon.
What the fuck is
All right, give me a minute, because that sounds like a person. That sounds like a real person.
It's a guy he works with.
I know
Is that a guy that you worked with at the automotive plant?
exactly.
Exactly. That wasn't Tom Petty?
Right. Holy fucking shit!
Here we go.
Are you ready for this? Alfonso Cuarón. He's the director of Y Tu Mama También, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, Children of Men and Gravity with Sandra Bullock. He couldn't be further from fucking Carlton and his dance.
Wow.
So yeah, the Carlton. He's Carlton.
You should have just said Carlton.
Carlton's been hosting it for 10 years.
Holy shit.
But yeah, if someone's going to take a bat to the nuts, I'm going to fucking laugh.
All I can say about that is thank you for asking that question.
You are very welcome.
Because this is another segment that's going to live in infamy.
Oh
man.
my God. I don't know why I even talk about people.
You're not allowed to use names.
I'm not going to use names. I'm just going to say, that guy.
Just use character names.
He was. Well, I fucked that up with Mike Brady.
Oh, you did?
Because it was Mike Brody. I'm like, it's not like I even put an actor's
did.
name out there. I was like, Mike Brady when he got chumped up by the shack.
Yeah, but you caught it.
Like Tim and LeBeau.
Remember the first
God.
movie with Richard Iniguez as Hooper?
All right, let me ask you something else. Do you guys have Apple TV?
I don't. No.
Okay. I bet a lot of people don't. And so I have it. I was able to like get pulled onto somebody's family plan.
Mhm.
So I go in there and it's like they got some crazy productions on that fucking network, man.
There was a period I really wanted Apple TV, and it was for one reason. They rebooted Amazing Stories a few years back.
Spielberg.
The Spielberg show.
Huh.
And they basically gave us like a preview weekend.
Yeah.
So I watched like 2 episodes and was like, this is pretty fucking rad. This is good. And then we
Yeah.
lost it. And I was like, there's just not, I don't know.
Wasn't
enough.
rad enough to buy into it.
No. Because I'm like, I'm not going to buy a whole channel for one show.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I don't know what else they even have.
Well, yeah. What do you?
I'm saying yeah, but the truth is I actually would buy it. If it was a show I liked enough, I would jump on just to fucking
Sure.
Yeah.
mainline that
Hey,
shit.
man, I did it. I did it.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't we all done that multiple times with HBO?
Oh, yeah. How many times?
Absolutely.
God damn it.
It's like Larry's gone. I quit.
Yeah.
Larry's back. I'm back in.
Heyo. Yeah.
Hey-o.
I love it. So what do they have? What do you
Okay,
watching?
so something I watched, it was a Vince Vaughn show, and it just came out. So just the season 1 just finished up. It's a show called Bad Monkey.
Okay.
I believe, yeah, I might be fucking that up, but I think it's called Bad Monkey. And it's one of these, it's comical, a little bit of action, a little excitement, little twists and turns, but it's also just got that like, classic on brand Vince Vaughn style shit to it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is I just found it to be super enjoyable.
Yeah.
It was
shit.
cool. It was cool.
Huh.
I don't want to really go too deep into the show and start like spoiling it for anybody, but I
No,
think it's
but-
worth checking out.
Okay.
If you're a fan of him and you like his stuff, and it's
I am.
you know,
I do like Vince Vaughn.
I do too.
Yeah. I loved him in Curb.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he's great. in Kurt.
Funkhauser's
Yeah.
nephew.
Freddie, yeah,
Yeah. So good.
yeah. I love. It's just he's just so natural at the banter.
Yeah.
It's just great.
Peels off
the
of him
comfortability
perfectly, yeah.
he has. You see it, you feel it, and I fucking dig
Yeah.
it.
No.
I
They have some good shows.
I was actually one of the few people that really enjoyed the second season of True Detective, where he was like the owner of a casino.
I've never seen any of it.
People raved about the first season, and was like, after you've watched the first season, you could stop.
A
And I'm
lot of
like,
people feel that way. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, well, I blew through season 2, and I was like, Vince Vaughn's the shit, and he's a villain.
Yeah.
And it was like, I remember thinking, mostly because of like 98 Psycho and
Mm-hmm.
Domestic Disturbance, I'm like, I can't take him seriously as a villain.
Right.
It was just one of those things, almost like when John Travolta tries it. I'm like, you're not scared of me.
Broken
But-
Arrow.
Yeah, exactly. But it was
Yeah.
like Vince Vaughn. He had a quiet menace to him in this that I was.
He
like,
did.
I was like, I'll be damned, and I really enjoyed it. And when I told people I really enjoyed season 2, they were like, "What the fuck?" But it was because everyone hated it, and I'm like,
It was just so different.
it was so different. Yeah,
From the first
it was a
season.
little more mafia-based true crime than
Yeah, it definitely was.
cults and out in the Midwest.
And there was a few different moving parts.
Yes.
Instead of just being anchored on these 2 characters.
Right, exactly. There was a lot going on. I think that season had like Rachel McAdams and Colin Farrell.
Yes.
And it was excellent. But it was like you almost have to take season 1's hat off and put on a different one
You do.
because it's an anthology. It's like American Horror Story,
Right.
So that was a Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, it's a good one.
That was a gig he did that I was like, Fuck yeah, dude.
Hell yeah.
Well, all I know is just before you kick me out, since I, brought up Apple TV,
Yeah.
Mhm.
I like to ask everybody that I run into and like when I meet up with people again, who's watching it? Because they get a ton of great talent and the productions are well, but somebody else said this, so I'm just going to kind of rob what they said. But it does kind of feel like, is this where great actors go to hide out?
It feels like it because
Hmm.
isn't Apple TV the one that has like that Jennifer Aniston, Reese Witherspoon
Yes.
news drama?
Yes.
There's that. I mean, they get big name talent, and I'm sitting here like, I don't know one fucking person that has Apple TV.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, no one I know has it.
Right.
I mean, is it expensive?
I don't know.
I don't even think it's expensive. My question is like, is it such a exclusive Apple universe? See, I don't have cable anymore, so I don't know if
Yeah.
they're advertising this shit.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't know who
Yeah,
the fuck's
I don't-
hearing about it.
Yeah. Not
No.
many people do have cable anymore.
Yeah. So
No. A lot
I
of
mean,
us are
streaming
streaming.
is dominating.
So maybe they're not. I don't know. I mean,
I'm definitely a Pluto hound.
Well, because
I'm on that.
what?
Pluto.
Oh, okay.
Fucking love
I
that
thought you
shit.
said something else. Okay. I mean, Pluto Hound, the Poon Hound, Pluto Hound. Like,
Yeah.
that's the nerd version. Total Pluto Hound.
It's code.
they
Cool.
they called it hound dog back in the day.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I could do this all night. But unfortunately, we can't. So,
No.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yes.
Thanks for having me
Hopefully,
again.
you'll come back soon.
You always teach us something.
I would love to consider coming back again.
My God. Fingers crossed. We might have crossed the line this time.
Yeah.
So, no, thanks again, man. For real.
Absolutely.
Always a
love,
pleasure.
love hanging out.
Good.
Thank
All right, man. Well, until next time.
See you guys.
Adios.